You know, for many years I always said, I'll sleep when I'm dead, or if you rest, you rust. And I was completely wrong. I didn't realize how important a good night's sleep. This whole video is going to help you understand why it is that you need a good night's sleep and what it will do for you when you get the correct amount of downtime, the correct amount of hours sleep. It is all extracts from a premium course that is called the Health Reset. And now when I look back to my youth and my years of being obese and not getting much sleep, do you know what my favorite drink was back then? Bloody Red Bull and vodka. And now I think about it, how stupid. On every level, I was getting so much caffeine, so much sugar. I wasn't sleeping well. I was getting up and going jogging after just a couple of hours sleep. I mean, I was heading for a disaster and I was obese all the time. I think what you're seeing now on this reset is lots of different things come together. Obesity isn't just about eating too much food. It's all these things, and sleep plays such a big part. Anyway, okay, that's enough about the body clock for today. It's enough about melatonin. It's enough about coffee. How do you know if you're getting enough sleep? Well, Dr. Shan has already told us that if you're tired all the time, the answer is probably no. And Matthew Walker, in his awesome book, Why We Sleep, also says, if after waking up you could easily fall back to sleep, say at 10 a.m. or 11 a.m., then probably you're not getting enough sleep. He also says, or if you need caffeine to get you through until midday, then you're probably not getting enough sleep. He describes in his book coffee before midday as self-medicating your state of chronic sleep deprivation. I like that. Having to have a coffee before midday, he sees as self-medicating your state of chronic sleep deprivation. He also says that if you have to set an alarm clock to wake up every morning, and if you hadn't have set it, you'd have slept past your alarm clock, then again, you're not getting enough sleep. Right, let's change tack a bit, because we've talked melatonin, we've talked coffee, we've talked about the body clock. Let's look at something else that I think you're going to find quite interesting. Let me tell you a story about the Bennett household. Until a few years ago, both of my two youngest daughters, Jessica and Lily, they used to always sleep with the light on in their bedroom. I'm sure you've maybe done it yourself. I'm sure you've had kids that have been there. And I tried everything to get them to sleep in the dark. I taught them about the biological clock, just taught them about everything we've just mentioned. I mentioned that if they keep their lights on, or their iPads or their iPhones blinking away, that it wouldn't produce enough melatonin. Of course, that's too technical for the young kids, but I tried that approach. And I also told them that they wouldn't get smarter at school. And of course, they just said, oh, shut up, Dad, you know, they can't affect my smartness. But then I remembered a two-word phrase that everybody's heard of, and that is beauty sleep. I reminded them about beauty sleep. I reminded them that as well as improving their health and their intelligence, if they didn't turn their lights off, then they wouldn't look as beautiful when they awoke. Now, at first they said, oh, you're just making that up, Dad. It's absolutely rubbish. It's got nothing to do with sleep, whether we look beautiful. But the reality is, the same beauty sleep is based on the fact that while we sleep, our skin regenerates itself up to 8 times faster than when we are awake. When you want to look more beautiful, it is really important that you get your beauty sleep, not rest. Your skin doesn't regenerate it to 8 times faster when you're resting, just when you're sleeping. If you want to look younger, one of the best things you can do is to get your beauty sleep. But hey, we're here to lose weight, and we're here to get more healthy. And let's not look at the superficial thing of being more beautiful, although we'd all like that, wouldn't we? Let's really focus in on the key things that happen when we get a good night's sleep. Your body goes into repair mode and increases your growth hormones. Your brain assembles the jigsaw puzzle of knowledge that you learnt during the day. Your brain takes the daily knowledge and stores it neatly into its own mental filing cabinet, so that the next day you can easily recall it. The liver, of course, while you sleep, you're not eating. Therefore, if you're not eating, it has a chance to start to detoxify your body. So lots is happening, while we're sleeping. And different events, as we learn with the circadian rhythm, that happen at different parts of your sleep. Now, on top of the circadian rhythm, roughly every 90 minutes, we're cycling in and out of REM sleep. REM means for rapid eye movement, and in between we have non-rapid eye movement. One of these areas is where we dream more. One of these areas is where we solidify, if you like, all the learning from the day before. And we also weed out faulty neural connections, things that just don't need to be there in the brain, things that are stopping you from learning things. And we need both. We need NREM and we need REM. It is the REM sleep, the sleep when you dream, that in one way is the most important. What I'm not going to go into chapter and verse because we haven't got time in our reset. It's already 2 days on sleep. There's loads of books that will tell you about the benefit of getting enough REM sleep. But in a nutshell, it is really good for your health. But likewise, if you don't get enough NREM, that's also not very good for you. Maybe a bit like me, you have to get up in the middle of the night to go to the toilet, or maybe you live in a noisy street and something wakes you up, or maybe your partner's snoring. The timing of those interruptions could be causing a big problem because it depends whether you're being woken up in NREM or REM. If you get woken up 2 or 3 times a night, you could end up having completely one type of sleep or the other, and the brain does need both. So that's why a quiet room and doing everything you can that we've talked about so far to get a good night's sleep, trying to balance your REM and NREM is very, very important. That's also, by the way, why it's important to try and go to bed around the same time every day. Remember back to the 12 things in America that the government was saying? First one was try to go to sleep roughly at the same time every day. And that's how you balance your NREM and REM sleep. Now, I mentioned earlier about all the benefits of a good night's sleep, but what happens when you don't get a good night's sleep? Well, first of all, your knowledge and your memories from the day's activities before, they become scrambled. Your body struggles to regulate your body temperature and becomes particularly inefficient in dealing with extreme colds or heats. If you don't get enough night's sleep, your body creates an excess of cortisol and you can become easily stressed. In fact, have you ever noticed how short-tempered you can become after a poor night's sleep? Again, it's not your fault that you become irritable and ratty. It's just an excess of cortisol. Without enough sleep, your immune system begins to fail. Without enough sleep, insulin struggles to regulate body sugar levels, and a lack of sleep over a prolonged period of time can in itself lead to type 2 diabetes. If you don't get enough sleep, leptin and ghrelin, your hormones that tell you when to eat and not to eat, can become very confused. And finally, if you don't get a good night's sleep, and quite worryingly, your body loses control of its fight against inflammation. I hope you found that super useful. Those were extracts from a program called Health Reset. To find more, click the link in the description.